What's going on, Faith Builders? On Thursday, I forgot to record our men's meeting, and I didn't want to not post the notes from it. So I wanted to go ahead and take this opportunity just to read through those notes here for you. So, what happens when we're more focused on pleasing God than pleasing ourselves? We are by nature selfish beings. We want to be comfortable. We want to do things that make us comfortable. That doesn't always include seeking God with all of our heart and behaving in alignment with that. Galatians 5:16 tells us that if we walk in the Spirit, we shall not fulfill the lusts of the flesh. This verse was shared on Tuesday, and it really sets up my first point. When you are pursuing the things of God, you're not going to be pursuing the things of the flesh. God intended that we would be spiritually minded and not carnally minded. When we become born again, we need to become born again. It says in 2 Corinthians 5:17, if any man be in Christ, he is a new creation. Old things are passed away. Behold, all things become new. It says in Romans 12:2 that we are transformed by the renewing of our mind. Being carnally minded is an old thing that has passed away. Think about it this way. When you get your driver's license, you start driving a car, right? So instead of riding a bike to your friend's house or wherever you're going, now you drive the car. This is what it's like when we become born again. Now we have the keys to the supernatural. Why would we continue to pedal in the flesh when we could be cruising in the Spirit? As we begin to seek God more, our lives should be a reflection of that. It's going to impact every area of our lives, whether we like it or not. In 1 Corinthians 13:11, it says, when I was a child, I spoke as a child, I understood as a child, and I thought as a child. But when I became a man, I put away childish things. When we become a new man, we need to put aside those childish things. The one who sows to the flesh will of the flesh reap corruption. Galatians 6:8. As we get saved and begin being renewed, those unchecked behaviors of the old man will begin to cause problems in the new life that God has trying to guide us to. Take a look at this next verse. Haggai 2:13. Then Haggai said, if one who is unclean because of a corpse touches any of these, will it be unclean? And the priest answered, it will be unclean. Uncleanness, like sin, is infectious. When your dead works and behaviors touch your renewed life, your dead works do not become clean. Those old behaviors can actually taint your new ones, causing you to backslide. It's very difficult to change your whole world all at once, but if you have clean and unclean practices, it's more likely that the uncleanness is going to take over. Holiness is not infectious, but unholiness is. If you're surrounding yourself with those same old friends that talk negatively and behave in ways that are not godly, it can cause you to become unclean. It's more likely that you're going to pick up their bad habits than they pick up your good ones. I was at a conference a few weeks ago, and I was networking with another industry professional for my market. When I spoke with him, I could feel my spirit rejecting the things that were being discussed. I knew I could not allow myself to spend too much time with that person, because instead of the light inside of me coming out, the darkness from his carnal mind would have brought me back to the person that I used to be. I would caution you to be mindful of your company and the conversations that you have, but more so the actions that you allow yourself to engage in. Unholiness is infectious, and when we are striving to be renewed, we cannot allow ourselves to be negatively influenced. The lust of the flesh wanted me to continue that conversation and to commiserate on the old lifestyle that I used to live. But the windshield is bigger than the rearview mirror. Eye has not seen, nor ear heard, nor have entered into the heart of man the things which God has prepared for those who love him. That's 1 Corinthians chapter 2, verse 9. There's a reason that the windshield is bigger than the rearview mirror. If you're focused on what's behind you, you're not going to be able to see what's in front of you. If you take your focus off of the road ahead, you'll start drifting off, and it won't be long before you're in big trouble. This has happened in my life time and again. And I know many of you have had this experience as well. If we can center our focus on God, it says in Proverbs that when we acknowledge Him in all that we do, He will direct our path. Giving up on the things that we used to do is hard, but the wages of sin is death. If we sow to the flesh, we're only going to reap corruption. We must continually strive to align our behavior with the new man. As we become renewed, we must sow to the Spirit in order to be continually renewed. It says in Galatians 6, whatever we sow, that is what we will reap. If we sow of the flesh, we're going to reap corruption. Whatever we sow grows. There are two wolves inside of us, the flesh wolf and the spirit wolf. Which one is going to grow? The one that we feed. Everything that we do casts a vote for which of those wolves is going to grow. We know that the flesh wolf leads to death, but we can't even conceive where the spirit wolf can take us. It is important that we remember that God has a plan. In fact, His plan is to prosper us and not to harm us. The devil's plan is to kill, rob, and destroy. Which route do you think is going to lead to peace and joy?